roofers are very bad at response rate, right? Like if you are not responding to your customers within 5 minutes, you're losing it, right? So if you don't have personal assistant, if you don't have receptionist, you must have something to replace yourself. It could be AI answering service. It could be someone who replies to your Facebook messages, your emails, because you can't afford to lose those requests.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Building Business Podcast. My name is Dixon, and today in our JobNimbus studio, we have a very special guest, Dmitry Lupinsky. Dmitry, welcome.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, we are so happy you're here. Dmitry's in town. We are doing our crew summit this month. And so Dmitry here, you spoke yesterday. You were able to talk a little bit about content and marketing for roofers. It was awesome. I know a lot of people. I talked with some folks at dinner last night about content and marketing in general. And it was a pretty eye-opening presentation, and so I appreciate you for being here. All right, so Dmitry, give us a little introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So started my roofing company in 2013, sold it in 2020 to my general manager, started Roofing Insights channel in 2017. My first YouTube channel was for my roofing company, and then I started a channel just for roofers, and after a couple of years, kind of outgrew my roofing company YouTube channel, and became the voice. Actually, our slogan was the voice of roofing communities. And for the past 8 years, been on YouTube, have 5 businesses, directory.com, platform, marketplace, recommends roofers, connects them with contractors. Literally have homeowner today, this morning, text me, there's a job going on in Minneapolis. They found roofer on directory.com, homeowners asking me questions about materials and this and that, and make sure everything goes in. So radio host, I have a local radio show in Minneapolis called Morning Brew with the homeowners. Like to think of myself as a consumer advocate. Love helping homeowners, educating them what they can expect with hiring a roofer, kind of like blind spots, how not to get scammed, not to hire a bad player, how to navigate through the process, and helping contractors as well on their journey.
That's awesome, and especially coming at it from the lens of a former roofer. It's invaluable, right? Because you know what it's like to be a homeowner, a roofer, and to do content and to do media. So it's invaluable. I think that's awesome. So that being said, I'm curious, at what point, just historically, at what point did you realize or decide or have an idea to do content instead of roofing? At what point did that start making the shift in your mind?
I don't think it was ever instead. I just when I started my YouTube channel for my roofing company, that was out of necessity to get my name out. I didn't have a big budget. I started my company with $2,000 in my pocket. I didn't have money to advertise. I didn't have money for Google TV or radio. And I'm like, this is free. By the way, YouTube is still free. Facebook is free. If you're not doing it, all you have to do is just invest your time, which when you start a company, you have plenty of. So I built my first website myself on Wix.com. I actually did a video, how you have 5-6 pages on the first website, roofing, siding, gutters, about us. I made sure that every page has a video. So roofing, I would make a video about roofing, about us. I would make a video about us. Siding, I would do siding guide. Hey, in this video, I'll show you the difference between James Hardy and LP Smart. And that website did so well because it was organic. I'm not a website builder, but somehow I built a website that average session was 3 minutes, which was incredible. So start getting customers. And then, so I believe that we're all media companies. So today I have 5 businesses, and I have YouTube channels for each one of them. And I'm a face. We do skits, we do creative stuff. Me and John Sinek even danced recently to sell our underlayment business. So today we have underlayment business. Today we have marketplace. Today we have roofing insights. I have roofing school where I teach roofers, but the core of it is YouTube channel, because you need to be found. You need to be discovered by your audience. And I believe that if you give your best advice for free on YouTube, people will pay you for your time if they believe you're the expert in whatever it is you do. So that's it's a backbone. But
yeah, and making sure that your content is giving that value, right? There are creators, some of the biggest creators in the space in YouTube are talking about how you need to have that payout quicker and that payout needs to be more and more valuable. So curious, you're doing a lot of content, that's pretty heavy. How do you define success in your businesses? How are you running them, and how are you defining what's succeeding and what's not succeeding?
Just KPI. Every business has KPI: profit margins, sales, growth. Like, my brand new business, Underlayment, $2 million first year in business. But you look at your profit margins. Obviously, you look at quality. Just in general, like it's all about conversions. It's all about bottom line. Of course, I don't chase sales. We chase profitability, but each bit, like directory, would be completely different metrics than, underlayment business or roofing school. But there's a ways to measure. I mean, numbers don't lie, people do.
Yeah. So again, it's all tied to profit margins, and making sure that you're measuring and that you're in the numbers with that too. That's awesome. What kind of tools do you use to run some of your businesses?
We have so many.
I mean, that's kind of the answer I was expecting, right?
Yeah,
there are tons of options for.
So I don't even know what. I have a rule in my company: if my videographers need to buy software, we have so many subscriptions. For example, as a creator, you need a footage, so you need there are AI tools to create some intros, some logos, some swooshes. There's libraries of content licensing platforms like music licensing, B-roll footages licensing, right? So I tell my team, if you need a tool, just sign up for it, and you don't have to even ask for permission. So we've used Asana for something for communication. Believe it or not, my favorite, how I stay productive, is notes on my phone, because I create notes every single day. I'm a thinker, I'm always in brainstorming, and just, when you're content creator, you're always thinking about what to create, right?
You have to be.
Yep. And then it's Telegram, actually.
Okay.
We use Telegram a lot for communications, for sharing files. So Telegram replaced so many, it replaced Dropbox for me, or Google Drive. It's easy because it doesn't downsize the files. It's free. So even with the students, I say, if you send me the video, I'll edit it and send it back to you via Telegram. So it's just, it's a chat, right?
Yeah.
So I use Telegram, Notes, and of course, Gmail products and other CRMs.
Nice. What is the role of AI, or what do you foresee the role of AI tools and resources? How do you feel like your companies are moving towards that?
AI is a helper. Unfortunately, I don't everybody's concerned that AI will replace people, and I don't think it's possible. I have 2 graphic designers, 4 videographers, and we all use AI. But I can't go to. Can I create a YouTube thumbnail with AI? Yes. Is it going to be really good? I can, the presentation you saw yesterday. We created it with my graphic designer, and I'm pretty sure he created some of it with AI. But back and forth, if you need quick graph, AI is awesome in so many things. I have 2 businesses, and I've been transferring money from one to another for whatever reason, and I couldn't figure out the balances. So I downloaded bank statements to ChatGPT and say, hey, run down which business owes which business, and I just need to square it, and it did. It's $60,000 from this is owed from here to here. Instead of calling my accountant and give me Excel, right? He's gonna charge me hourly. I ask ChatGPT. So, even ChatGPT for it's great, but I'm not gonna use a ChatGPT just to create something from scratch. I'm gonna create something, say proofread it, make it better, give me a few more points. So you still need a person to use those tools.
Right.
If you rely on them, I feel bad for you, because sooner or later you'll get in trouble. And we see that in the marketplace. We see lawyers getting in trouble because AI is making up cases, and they've been busted, in the courtrooms. Actual legit cases today. You can't just outsource everything. You still have to sign off on the results.
AI is proving to be really effective in synthesizing data. So for me, I run our community online at JobNimbus, and so a lot of it's gathering feedback, making sure that I'm catching all the feedback that we're getting, and then also surfacing, common questions or concerns or themes that we're seeing. So again, it takes the mass data and pulls it into digestible chunks for us to then make decisions with. So I think that's awesome.
But you have to test it. Not everything is going to work. We're getting at the Roofing Insights, we're getting hundreds and hundred messages on Instagram, Facebook. And recently I signed up for Dan Martell's, one of the platforms, I forgot the name of it. And the AI tool, it's AI product to manage and systemize your DMs. So essentially you connect it to your Instagram and Facebook, and it can, like if someone DMs you, the question, you can train it to reply to it and this and that. So I have a assistant, and he played with it for a week and said, I don't like it. I would rather respond directly.
Right.
And it's annoying because the messages do get, like, we do need something, we do need tool.
Mm-hmm.
And tool have been created, but it's not better than old school. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
There's absolutely a balance. And I think that the tool depends, the application of the actual work depends. We have a couple programs we use for our social team, and one of them has a smart inbox feature, very useful to like gather data and like see what people are saying. But it also collects all the spam and throws it into the inbox with all the actual customers. So we find ourselves having to weed it out a little bit more proactively. So that's interesting. So you mentioned the concern that AI or technology is going to replace roofers or replace folks in the industry. Obviously, nails still need to be pulled out of roofs, shingles need to be scraped off roofs, new shingles need to be put back on. There's a level of work that will always need to be manual and in my mind, pretty human-led. What roles are there any areas of the industry that you do foresee being taken, maybe not roles, but just like work being taken away with AI or with
office work? We have heavy, like for example, on the insurance side, average exact estimate is like 13 pages. So it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of analysis, it's a lot of like go through this, right? So now instead of giving it to the person, you can give it to AI, say, hey, what did I miss? Mm-hmm. So if you train to do Xactimate or estimate the project, for those mistakes, it's a big concern. Like it's actually kind of like mini niche in the industry, just estimating projects, right? Well, AI definitely you can outsource it to AI, and now you don't need estimators. If you run, I don't know, $500 million company and you have 6 estimators, now you might need 1 or 2, and 4 will be replaced. Like all the manual work, all the like little things. Here's what I used to do. Like technology saves me because I'm dumb, I'm not educated. Like even before I used to post on Facebook, I would give it to my employees and like, hey Adam, can you please proofread it? Because my copy was always like, my English is broken, right? Like, the grammar always suffered. Now I go to ChatGPT, like proofread this or grammar check, and it gives. So I used to have employee do it for me. Now ChatGPT does it for me. Just
it's getting much better at
just
that.
Grammar check, right? But it can do your public statements. It can do your apology. And I hate it because you can actually see where a person did not even try. I recently saw a roofer, who got blasted online, and he came up with an apology letter, and it was the worst thing ever because you can see that ChatGPT wrote it. Like humans don't do that. Like it's like ChatGPT write me apology letter. It will do it, but you cannot lose your authentic yourself. Anyway, so it will not replace everyone, but it will replace good chunk.
I agree with that. I think that we have to be mindful. I love what you said about making sure that you're asking it what you're missing. Not necessarily, because again, as a content generation tool, I still think that a lot of people think that humans are better at that. But in terms of like making sure you're not missing gaps, in terms of making sure, again, you can draft an apology letter, but it needs to sound human. Or you can draft any sort of letter or correspondence, but it needs to sound human, so there needs to be a touch. But also, going back to the data side of it, like if I am synthesizing customer feedback or user feedback, or I'm helping with if I'm conversing with users of JobNimbus, being able to see, hey, here's my perception of what the main problem is. Are there any other comments out there that I'm missing and that might add more context to this? And it's really helpful for that. But awesome. So in terms of AI tools, So JobNimbus has AssistAi. It's an AI receptionist essentially. So on the operations side of things, you mentioned estimates being more efficient, less busy work being created with AI. What do you see in terms of companies being able to grow and scale? How does AI play into that? So like we have a solution that is ever evolving and we'll be rolling out more features to AssistAi, but like how can roofers get more sales, get more leads with AI?
Anything that helps with the response rate, as long as it's a net positive on consumer behavior, because you can't take that. Like you can tell, and this is my biggest concern. It's not about your tool, but there are companies, who call you, the follow up, right? And you immediately know that it's not a company, it's AI. Like I'll give you an example. I recently submitted an application and I'm receiving calls about the application, but it's not a person, it's AI. Hey, this is Dmitry, you started the application, let me connect you with a Carlos. I'm like, sure. Are you ready to connect? Sure, I'm ready to connect, right? 5 times. So I received 5 calls. I was available, I was either driving, so I picked up. I talked to this bot or whoever AI called me, right? And 5 times he could not connect me with a Carlos. And I ended up sending email. I found an email for Carlos say, listen, your AI is super annoying. I've been trying to connect with you for 2 weeks to finish my application. Can I schedule a call with a human, right? So I think AI can be very helpful. I've tested yours. I think yours are better than most, but we have to be mindful about that consumer experience, because if people don't like it, I think people, roofers are very bad at response rate, right? Like if you are not responding to your customers within 5 minutes, you're losing it, right? So if you don't have personal assistant, if you don't have receptionist, you must have something to replace yourself. It could be AI answering service, it could be someone who replies to your Facebook messages, your emails, because you can't afford to lose those requests. In 24 hours, it's a cold call. Even if they came to you and you return a call, like they don't remember. The attention span is so small, right? So yours fixed that problem, but we have to always improve. And also, if it answer the phone call, you still have to be responsive. You still have to follow up. Like in my case, like this Carlos guy, if AI is calling me, you better be ready to pick up the slack. Like when you actually reach someone. Otherwise, they already have a bad experience with your AI, and now you're making everything worse.
Right. Right. I totally see that. I mean, AI in our minds is solving a problem. It's solving the problem of missed phone calls and missed leads going to your competitors. But if it's creating more problems, like, oh, I'm stuck in a loop, or I'm stuck in this, I can never get in touch with Dmitry, even though I'm trying to get in touch with Dmitry, right? Like we don't want to be creating more problems for customers, especially when you're trying to build trust. And that being said, so you've done a lot of content. You've built businesses on, the quality of work that you're doing and, the actual product, but you've also had to maintain reputation and maintain perception and relationships with the customers. How important is that in the industry? One, how important is perception and trust in the company, in the industry? And 2, what do you do to maintain it with the customers?
Perception is reality. Like, you are not who you think you are. You are is what Google says about you. It's your reviews. It's their experience, and you can't fake it. You can't, like, people are blown away. Like, one of the reasons business owners have higher rate, because people like to talk to the owners, right? And even for me right now, if people almost don't expect me to pick up a phone because, they know that I'm busy. But if I pick up, not my assistant, like everywhere I go, I give my cell phone. Every presentation is my cell phone, and I do it intentionally because I know people respect time. If I give you right now Mark Cuban's cell number, are you going to call him? Are you going to text him? No. You're going to respect his time. He's Mark Cuban.
Yeah, the assumption is that he doesn't want to talk to little old me.
Well, but if you have $1 billion idea, and you have a number, and you actually have his number, it's in his book, right? But I'm not gonna bother him unless I have something worth it, right? The same thing, like we have to be available. Like, don't be afraid to put your number there. Like if you're the business owner, because here's where I'm going with it. a lot of people are hiding behind technology. They're hiding behind AI. Some roofers have websites with no phone numbers. You should have your phone number in your email signatures, in your social media, footers and stuff. And the reason is because people want to text, people want to call, people want to reach you. And if you're not reachable, the trust is lost momentarily. How can you trust a roofer who does not have reviews? Like who does not have maybe office? Like people think about worst case scenario. If they cannot find you right now, if you're not answering right now, are you going to answer if we have a problem, if we have a dispute? It's going to be even worse. It's a red flag. So I would say perception is, you have to earn that trust early on and don't blow it up, later. But trust is momentarily lost if communication is bad.
And I think that especially for homeowners who don't have a lot of experience getting a roof redone or getting any sort of contract work. I mean, I do not know what it's like to have to call a contractor for work on my home personally. I know what it's like to work with contractors, so I have familiarity there. But for customers who don't have a lot of experience and don't know how the industry works or don't know what the norms are, hey, is it normal for this guy to not be answering my phone calls? Is it normal? Like, are they busy or are they just like ignoring me? I think it's really important to have solid communication for that reason and many others, but specifically that one where like you're dealing with Mrs. Jones who doesn't know what a good roofer is or a bad roofer is, and so you've got to make it seem like you're the best 100%. Roofer on the planet. I love that. So what would you say in terms of content and content creation to help build your reputation online and also like maintain it? I guess what I'm trying to say is what benefit does content do or what benefit does content provide for roofers? And I would say like let's think of if you're a roofing company and you're kind of doing content but you're not really diving into it, why should you or shouldn't you be doing more of?
It's actually it helps you three ways. One is it helps people to discover you, just pure discoverability and staying on top of mind, right? If I'm subscribed to you, if I see you, because people don't think about realtors until they need to buy a house, right? And if you have that one friend who always posts like sold, 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 right? Like you don't need him, but when you need him, you know who to call because he's the only realtor who is always posting. The same with the roofer. If you are the roofer who's always online, always posting, guess what? Someone will say, hey, can anybody recommend a roofer? You're going to be tagged. So it's a discovery and being on top of mind. Second, it builds trust, right? Like it makes you relevant. You're always in the trenches, you always work, and it makes you not only on top of mind, but people trust you. That's all he does. It's not his side gig. He's always talking about roofing, even if they don't want you. And third one, it will help you oftentimes to sell jobs on the back end. I'll give you a story here. TSM Roofing out of Arizona. So they do tons of content, beautiful videos, short, long, like everything, educational. And recently they sold the job. And when Taylor came to the homeowner and said, why did you pick us? So they provided an estimate. And here's what people don't think. Facebook Pixel. So if they're on your website and you create content now, you know how Facebook and Instagram, they always follow, listen to you, right? Like if we're talking about watches, you're going to come and you're going to see what ad for watches, right?
Yeah.
So if you talk about roofs, what are you going to see? Like Facebook going to recommend you roofers or ads or whatever. Right? Homeowner said, after you gave me the estimate, all I saw online is your stuff. And in one video, she said, I saw the video, I'm like, I see the content, I'm like, I'm calling this guy. Because if you're consistent with the content and if you do everything like, now that content follows them. So they came to your website, you provided them estimate, but they didn't make a decision yet, but they still see you. So your video essentially helps them sell you after everything. So they're still thinking about your estimate and two other estimates. But what if you're the only roofer they still see online? How awesome is that? So it kind of chases after you, after all your efforts. The same goes with all branding. If you have billboards, vehicle wraps, imagine driving to work and having estimate from Apple Roofing and seeing 2 Apple Roofing trucks on the road.
Right.
Same thing. It kind of chases you and helps you reestablish that trust.
So I actually spoke with a couple roofers this week who were curious about how to get started, right? So what would you recommend to a roofing company that is doing great work but wants to get more involved on social media?
Super easy. I know it sounds easy, but it's not easy. It's just answer questions, document, it's all about storytelling. Do not make it about you. People are so selfish. Nobody cares about you. It's not your story to tell. Think about your customers. Like, what job are you working on today? How did you sell the job? Is it insurance claim? What kind of insurance claim? What happened? I'm here with Mrs. Jones. She called us. She has devastated, hail damage, and her roof was falling apart. She called us. We sold her, blah, blah, blah. Insurance company denied her, but then finally we got approval for $18,000, and today, right? So if I'm scrolling, if I'm seeing that story, I'm like, I had a damage on June 18. I remember that day, right? Because, insurance denied me. Can you help me approve my claim, right? Like, you can relate to the story. Seeing is believing. Or it could be, roof leak. Like, this homeowner called us and we have a leak and this is how we're gonna fix it, right? It builds trust. People love watching fire burning, water running, and people working. It's very satisfying. If you actually go on YouTube, and this is what's missing, you will see videos with millions of views with just roofers for 30 minutes installing something, like literally. And I did not understand that concept. And one of my video guys say, I get it, Dmitry. I actually went and watched it. You know why? It's satisfying. You're just seeing that progress and people are weird. Like, have you ever watched, there's a guy, they do camping. They just go off the grid and just create this campsite and start a fire, right?
Yeah.
Literally 30-minute video, just creating, like, what? It's satisfying. Like, you're thinking about, would I do that? But the same goes with anything. Like, there are creators right now who I love watching. One of my favorite is, that I found very satisfying to watch. There's guys on TikTok and Instagram all over now. They cut grass. They'll come to someone.
I've seen those.
Right?
Yeah.
And it just like starts right here, and then at the end, I'm like, man, that's so clean. It's just a time-lapse video, but just by the time it's done, it's nice and clean. And there's little conflict, like police will come in, or you're not allowed to do that. And it's like, what? He's doing good, right? So I would say document your journey. Do not make it about yourself. Do basic storytelling. What do you do? Why do you do it? Never start a video with what's there for you. Your content is all about them. It's all about your customer. What are they getting? Especially if you're the good guy and maybe you were cheaper. Maybe like, hey, they got 5 estimates. They picked us, and we were the cheapest bidder. I don't know, like whatever. Like, because that tells people that not you are great, but that homeowner made a decision, and maybe they will make a decision just like that homeowner picking you.
Yeah, getting on the camera and saying how great you are is much different than showing the value that you are providing to your community.
I mean, the worst thing you can do is just to say, I'm great, we do the highest quality, nobody cares. The basic principle that I teach is be different, not better. Never try to convince people that you are the best at anything. It pushes people away. If I'm sitting here and say I'm the greatest at YouTube, I'm this and that, it pushes people away. You'll come off as arrogant. You'll come off as someone who's just bragging, right? But if you're different, and we're all different, people who will buy from me will not buy from you. People who buy from you will not buy from me. Right? Like, my difference is I'm immigrant, I'm Russian, I grew up in Siberia, I came to the United States with nothing. That's my story, and I'm gonna, tell it until I die. Because that's me, and people will relate to my story. I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. Just find your weaknesses. Find maybe vulnerable moments about yourself. Because don't try to be perfect. The era of gurus, the era of know-it-all and I'll teach you this, like, it's gone. People love it, like, hey, and I actually tell people, I tell roofers, share your mistakes. What's the last time that something went wrong and you covered it? What's the last time you lost money on the project? What's the last time someone stole from you or you made a mistake? That's the best like, I would argue that this job cost me $5,000. It's way better than, my sales rep made $50,000 a month, right? Because think about it. If I give you a Rolex because you're top producer, what message does it send to people? Like, oh, roofers make way too much money.
Right.
Right? You're ripping people off. You're greedy, right? That's the message. That's what they hear, right? But if you share that we lost $20,000 on this project, here's what went wrong. First, it started with this one, then that one, and we cannot pass it to the homeowner, so we have to eat it. Now, I'm watching it, it's like, man, roofers don't make as much as I thought. Mm-hmm. I'm a business owner and I lose money at my business. I can relate to it. Everybody knows.
Yeah, there's definitely a level of relatability when you're exposing those mistakes that you've made. Like, well, yeah, hey, we just did that recently.
Yeah. But people will hire you.
Look at the success that they've had since, or look at what they learned from that. That was different than my takeaway from it. I think that's awesome. And then on the other side of that, what would you recommend to roofers who are doing content but are in a pretty saturated market? How do they stand out?
Creativity. You always, like, I'm on saturated market. If you go on YouTube, you think like every niche, every area, there's no such a thing as the saturated. Like, I love when roofers say, oh, Dallas is saturated. Oh, you think Dallas is saturated? You think Orlando is not saturated? Like, show me one city, one area that does not have a competition. It's competitive everywhere. Your job is to go to the top. Your mindset should be, I'm going to the top, and study your competitors, study what works every single day. I think this day and time, what's more important is not what's trending now, but what's up and coming. Be in that conversation. When you become a creator, you also become a different consumer. So I'm a creator. Now, if I see something that's trending, I'm going to react to it. Because let's face it, when Charlie Kirk, got killed, no matter what kind of content you would put that day, it would tank, because the whole country was talking about Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. If tomorrow something happened on a national level, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good your content is, you're on the top of mind.
It's a drop in the bucket because it's the same as everyone else.
Exactly. And everybody else talking about something else. So what do you have to do? Do you have to talk about Charlie Kirk? Not necessarily, but you, as a content creator, as a thought leader, you have to address it. You have to think about, what can you do in that situation and how you're going to address it. Maybe take a pause and don't publish anything. Like, that's why when you create stuff, like, being different and being relevant is very, very important. Some people just do content for the sake of content. You have to think about, what are your people thinking about right now? Because everybody knows, like, Thanksgiving is a slow week. Like, people think about their homes. They're not thinking about buying a roof. And if you're creating content during Thanksgiving about anything, about yourself, but not about Thanksgiving, like, you should think about Thanksgiving, what people think about Thanksgiving, and create content about it, and then people will watch it.
Because people will be home not thinking about roofs, but what is the way that you can make content that they're going to want to consume while they're at home?
And today we have awesome tools, right? Like, back in the day, you had to do it all your own. Today you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm a roofing contractor in Dallas, Texas. Please analyze my competitors. Give me top 10 ideas for the videos. I want to publish something 2 days before the Thanksgiving and Christmas. Give me schedule, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have to address, like, what do you post on Labor Day? What do you post, like, as a business, as a person, right? What should you talk about? What are trending talks right now? And those are your topics. Those are your key points. That's how you're going to be relevant.
Yeah. So differentiate, try to stay relevant. I love that. I think it's very true. And I think that using ChatGPT or AI, whatever LLM you're using, to, like, gather some of that, right? Like, what are my competitors doing? I don't even know what kind of content they're putting out or why it resonates. Doing a little bit of an analysis of, like, well, what's out there, and then think to yourself, why would I interact with this as well?
I'll give you an example. So when Charlie Kirk happened, so we have a radio show. It airs on Saturday at 11 a.m. locally in Minneapolis, and we film it on Tuesdays. We have a script, so I have a script writer, Sydney, my producer. She helps me find the story. So we have 4 stories, every single, it's 4 sections, like 12 minutes each. And I have co-host, and we read the story like a podcast style. We talk about, like, what do you guys think?
Love it.
So when Charlie Kirk died, got killed, It was last week. Everybody was talking about it, right? And I'm reading, so it was like 3 days after Charlie Kirk, I think. So I come in and our 4 stories was all about insurance scams and I'm trying to read and I can't do it. I just can't do it. So I call Sydney. We have 30 minutes. Let's switch topic. I want to do 4 stories now. All about Charlie Kirk. I want to talk about because a lot of businesses were canceled. They were getting like 1-star reviews. So if someone goes and celebrated his death, like people would go and dump like 1,000 negative reviews, right? So let's talk about business canceling. Let's talk about people who lost their jobs because there's corporations who literally fired people. And so we were not negative at all, but we picked 4 topics and we talked about Charlie's effect on small business, how we consume small business, big business, negative reviews, cancellations, firing, like all of that stuff. And business responses was one of the topics. Like if you run a business and your employee does something like that, like what you should do? And do you have to make a stance, like as a business? Do you have to make it public? Anyway, it was very interesting. It was very hard episode to make, but being relevant and talking about hard things on social media or as a business, it's hard because you're the leader, right? Like if you want to be on social media as a business, you have to talk about those hard things like election. And I'm not recommending talking about politics.
Yeah, I would say if it falls into the type of content that you're putting out there, if you're a thought leader and you're sharing what your organization or just the industry or a section of the industry is thinking about a certain thing, especially you in your case, like you are someone who can speak for many businesses because they align with the message that you're putting out there. And that's absolutely where I would say like, yeah, like if you are someone who does thought leadership content and something big happens, that's when you should be thought leading, right? You should be throwing your thoughts out there and generating discussion.
You also have to
around
recognize what everybody's talking. Like for example, in the roofing industry, we have like recently 2-3 months ago, insurance executives were in front of Congress and everybody was roasting them. So like even sharing that content will give you millions of views. Like get a clip of congressman roasting insurance executive because everybody's talking about it, right? Like if you work with insurance companies, you can react to it. Like I'm owner of this business in Dallas and here's what we deal with every day. Listen to this clip, right? Like it's easy, but it's up and coming. And you might be the only roofer in Dallas who actually put a decent content on it.
Yeah, I think things that impact your industry, that impact your company specifically, I think you should be, tug on that line a little bit, see kind of where your branding fits into that, see kind of where the story you can tell lives. So we've talked a lot about what roofers can do to stay relevant online. You've talked about businesses you've built. What are some business mistakes that roofers can avoid or contractors can avoid across the board?
I would say any kind of bragging. Like the era of look at my Lambo, look at my lifted truck, it's gone. Like you have to show humility, you have to be humble. I mean, there's a place for everything. Like if you want to lead with it, it's fine. But showing off your wealth, it works for some people, but I found that it pushes people away more than it attracts. In general, talking about yourself, like talking about how great you are. For that reason, I don't recommend even business names like quality, integrity. People should see those things. You should not lead with them. So be more playful, be more open. Like people will come to you if they see that you're simple. That when you create content, don't try to make it polished. I noticed even for our channel, is people don't like high production. Like if you study TikTok top producers, like most top viral videos is someone sitting in a car talking to their phones. Because it's conversational, it's like simple. It's not like I noticed for us, like we do top production, right? Like we would sit in a studio and when we upload those episodes, the stories are great and everything is good, but nothing gets views like me walking down the street and just talking to the camera. Just be you, simple. People always ask like, what camera should I buy? You already have a camera, you already have a phone. Be simple. Don't worry about being perfect. It does not take 10 cuts to do. Like if you made a mistake, like I have a rule. If we're driving and you're filming me and I'm like, I have to like swirl because there's someone cut me off, that stays in a video. And that might be the best part of the video, You know, that imperfection, that's what people gonna relate to, gonna comment. That's your engagement.
It's the human moment too, right? Like, oh, Dmitry has these thoughts, and Dmitry, you know, is leading discussion on this, but also he has to deal with traffic just like I have to deal with traffic, and you know, people cut him off just like they cut me off. I think that it relates to people more than we realize or than we give it credit. Also, you know, streamers, right? Like, I mean, we think of how many videos or how much content has gone viral or has just done really well for the creator, where it's just them sitting on a webcam talking about stuff or doing random stuff. Like, I think that it's simpler than we give it credit for. And I think that we oftentimes overcomplicate, you know, even posting, right? Where it's like, well, you know, if I'm a small roofing business, you know, what do I have to say, right? Like, what value am I going to add to my community? I think that they're missing the mark a little bit. I think there's a level of just get out there, show the work that you're doing in a way that's authentic to you, that's honest to you. And I would imagine many people would be surprised at the impact that could have.
100%.
So another question, I mean, you've done a lot of things right. You've probably made your own mistakes. I'm curious, for someone scaling a business or starting a business in 2025, 2026 and beyond, what are some tips? What do you feel like they just have to have, the knowledge they have to have in order to succeed?
As far as marketing goes, throw yourself on the internet everywhere you can be. Just be there. As far as like business numbers, be numbers game. If I wake you up in the middle of the night, if you don't know your numbers, you're gonna lose. Like business is a numbers game. You can be negative, you can be losing money, but you need to know how much money exactly you're losing. Amount of people in business who have no idea, like. A lot of roofers don't know the difference between net profit and gross profit. They think they make money. They think they're 40%. If you don't know your overhead, if you don't know what actually, like your break-even point, like just the basic stuff, like it's okay to lose money. It's okay to have a red month. We're in Minnesota. We're, you know, closed 4 or 5 months out of the year.
Right.
I have a red month, but how much money are you losing? Like, I'll give you an example. I would, like my break-even point was 2018, 2019, like $500,000 a month. You know, if I make $400,000 a month in sales, I'm losing money. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know that. Like, you have to, like, my underlayment business right now is so hard for us because we don't know, like, there's a lot of unpredictable factors like tariffs. So every time Trump goes and adds like 15%, my profit margins are gone. And we're like, what's going to happen? We're going to lose money, right? It's so hard. But because we know numbers and we lead with them, I'm okay with losing money because I know where I'm going. But
and you know where you're recouping it.
Yes, and sales don't fix everything. If you don't, I've met roofers who've done $15-20 million, and just how their CRM were talking to QuickBooks, it was not syncing it right. And at the end of the year, they got a surprise that they lost $2 million, and they were thinking they were making money. So you have to stand up with numbers.
Yeah, and that all goes into making sure that your system is set up right, that your system is helping work for you to manage all that, so that way you can, one, know the data, know the numbers, and then also know what you need to do to grow it. I think it's a really wise insight to make sure that you are data-driven and you do lead with the numbers. I think that as well, making sure that you have tools and systems in place that are going to allow you to scale easily and effectively. It's been the challenge of many roofers and contractors that I've talked to, is they're so in the weeds with the day-to-day work that they don't know how to get ahead and actually scale because their systems aren't set up to do so. One of the things, like we've talked about before, one of the things that JobNimbus offers is AssistAi in terms of answering phone call for you, answering any phone calls from customers, already scheduling them for you, so they're kind of warming that up, and we're doing it through AI. We're trying to get more efficient and more effective, and we are finding ways to help contractors use AI with JobNimbus to free up time, so that way they can look into other ways they can improve their business.
Absolutely love it, and we've tested it. I think early results are coming in. It's a huge problem in the industry. Like, we have directory.com. And one of my rules, if we cannot reach you, like if you're the contractor and you say you want leads, if I cannot reach you within 4 hours, I'm gonna kick you out. Like, don't tell me we have vacation mode. Like, if you're on vacation or you need to take a pause because you don't, like, we travel, things happen. But during the business hours, you have to answer. And AssistAi is an amazing tool because if you don't have receptionists, if you don't have people in the office, at least someone is responding to them. And that fixes that problem as long as we schedule those appointments, because amount of waste of marketing that goes into not responsiveness is insane. People say that they have marketing problem. You don't have marketing problem. Most of the time you have receptionist problem, scheduling problem. And AssistAi is amazing in fixing that problem. And essentially your marketing will be cheaper, because if you got 10 leads and you only schedule 3 appointments, you lost 7. And if your lead cost you $200 a lead, now you lost $1,400,
right.
And you don't even know it.
Right, and I heard a stat this morning actually where I think the industry standard for answer rate in roofing is 60%. So
Yep.
that is automatically the average is that you're losing 40% of those leads.
Yep.
And that's something that we cannot have. If you're trying to scale your business, if you're trying to go from 3 million to 5 million,
Do you have
or
any,
5 million to 10 million, you just cannot do that.
Do you have any stats how AssistAi improved someone's response rate like that?
I don't have any stats. That's a great question though.
I would love to look at the stats like before and after.
Yeah, that's a great
if
question.
someone maybe were at 60% and now
I know that
they're at 80%.
we have success stories in the bank. I need to get firm numbers on that. I think that's awesome. If you have any questions about AssistAi or how to implement it into your business, go ahead and click the link below in the description, and we will absolutely get you some more information on that. Massive thanks to Dmitry for being here in the studio with us today. Thank you for chatting. I learned a lot from you, and I'm very excited to implement some of the things that you taught us this week at Crew into our business as well.
Love it.